Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates, and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and smash a like on the video as well. That does massively help me out. It's weird now. The season is over. And so there aren't as many things to talk about, I suppose, but there is lots to talk about. Obviously, look, we're heading into an exciting transfer window for Arsenal where a lot of big things are going to happen. We'll be talking about that today, some various new links from some good sources, and we're talking about the England squad as well, which has obviously come out today. Loads of you are here, as always, which you just love to see. Pekka, Junior, Icarus, Vivi Vlad, Alex, Cy Walder, Drax, Fizzy, King Kai, George Christodoulou, Devin, Maxi, Milioyoyoy, Lukey, Kazanex, Leeds Gunner, Carter, Chow, Tentego, Hannah, Jesus Jimenez, Ross Lawman. I got El Nenid. My contract at work will expire and no new renewals. I'm sorry to hear that, Ross. I am sorry to hear that, but when one door closes, many others open, and everything happens for a reason. So don't worry about it. But I do hope that you figure things out, and it's not too bad. Is Neves really worth it, or is he just hype? Well, we're going to talk about that today. Willsy, good to see you as well, and there's loads more of you in the chat. I do appreciate you all being here. So look, we'll crack straight into the thumbnail, the title, the biggest piece of news. And this is coming directly from the mouth of Fabrizio Romano, who was on the United stand today. It's about Joao Neves, who we've spoken about previously. And he says, Arsenal have recently sent their scouts multiple times to follow Joao Neves. There is a real interest in him. And look, as time goes on, I am beginning to think that he is the one. I am beginning to think not in terms of like, I'm not all in on him like I am Gyökeres, for example, but the more I think about it and I rule various midfielders out for this reason or that reason, I am beginning to land on him, I think, as the number one Declan Rice partner that I think I want. Young, don't get me wrong, right? He's going to be expensive for someone of his age playing in the Portuguese league. If you're looking at 80 to 100 million quid, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but I think he could be worth it. Now, look, he'll be starting for Portugal at the Euros. That will give us a chance to look at him. But it's one of those where with the Euros coming up and with Copa America coming up, I don't basically want to let those tournaments change my opinion too much. I think, if I go into the tournament already kind of set on Joao Neves, then that's fine. But I don't want to not really have an interest in a player and then suddenly they play well at the Euros and then I'm like, oh, we need to get that player. Because I just think more often than not that goes badly. So I'd love Neves. He's perfect. But we can't be paying anywhere near 100 million for him. At that rate, you just get Bruno G. Yeah, well, maybe you're right, but is Bruno G a better player? And one thing I am looking at is it's not just about who's going to be a better player, but it's who's going to be a better partner for Declan Rice as well. 80 to 100 million is robbery for a player of his caliber. Interesting. Glad we're sniffing around Neves. Feels like United, Chelsea are always first to these young stars. They are, but it doesn't always go well. Chelsea were first to Enzo Fernandez, and I don't think that's gone incredibly well. So my dream window is Sesko, Frankie de Jong, and Hato, and then maybe Eze if we have the money, which is unlikely. Interesting. Yeah, look, a lot of people are keen on Sesko and Frankie de Jong and Hato. Hato's definitely up there for me. The Enzo transfer really makes me question the idea of 100 mil plus for a player. The Declan Rice deal makes me not question it. No, I hear you, especially for a young player from a different league. I think you look at the amount of money that was spent on Darwin Nunez and Enzo, there are more misses than hits, is what I would say. But equally, I trust Arteta. I trust Arteta and Edu to get it right. So, look, we'll bring Neves up. I showed this relatively recently, but for people that didn't see it, in terms of his numbers this year, I love this. I love this. in the top 99%, or in the top 1% rather, for touches. Incredibly, for someone of his height, what did we say 174 centimeters was again? 5'8". Is it 5'8", 5'7", 5'8"? But he wins 77% of aerial duels, which is incredibly impressive. Defensively excellent. Say, a new member. Unbelievable. Say, okay, thank you very, very much for becoming a YouTube member. Welcome. Welcome to the Rory Talks Football community. That is absolutely sensational. Thank you very much. 5'8". Lukey says 5'10". It's not 5'10". 5'8.5". So look, I mean, it's not, I've seen shorter players in midfield. I mean, how tall was Santi Cazorla? Santi Cazorla can't have been much taller than that, surely. No, you've not missed anything yet, Jacob, really. Just that Fabrizio Romano has said that we are... you pronounce it Shay? Shay. My apologies for butchering the pronunciation of that. Yeah, Fabrizio Romano said we've been following him a lot. It's when we come down here that I start really getting... I enjoy this. This, fine. I think we'd end up playing him as a 6, to be honest. I think he'd play as a 6 for us. That is... His primary position's a 6. I mean, like I said, he's 19 years old, right? And he's doing this in Liga NOS at 19. I mean, this is remarkable. This doesn't matter massively if he's playing at 6. That's remarkable. Again, chance creation, not the highest, but fine if he's playing at 6. This, very, very nice. And then defensively, I mean, that's unbelievable. I feel like I've seen you correct that 50+ times. Probably. I'm bad with names. I apologize. Wouldn't we be a bit too defensive? Well, I think no, I don't think so, because I think it would free the... I think it would free up Declan Rice much more, But I'm looking at this. I'm looking at, in terms of his pass accuracy, long ball accuracy, I'm looking at this as, okay, so if he can bring the passing ability of Thomas Partey, but then he has this defensive ability, which is, light years ahead of Thomas Partey, then in terms of what we've seen towards the end of the season, I feel like that's kind of what we want. Incredibly comfortable on the ball. So, look, this is an option that if we went for it, I'd be happy. This is Joao Neves. 19-year-old from Benfica. So, look, there are options on the table. This is one of them. It's someone we've been scouting. And Bordsey makes a brilliant point. If we are more defensively solid with Rice and a Joao Neves, frees up Martin Ødegaard. It frees up Martin Ødegaard to do even more. It's been discussed that there's a blend between Cazorla and Barella. I mean, what's not to like about that? What is not to like about that? If we bring in a 19-year-old, will that alienate youngsters like Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly coming through? I don't think it would alienate them. It might make them work harder, and it might mean that they never make it to the first team, but then you just sell them, If we bring in Joao Neves and he's better than Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri, then, that's just what it is. If anything, it'll incentivize them to work harder, or it should do if they've got the right mentality. A bit of a strange one, since Bruno G would make Rice play 6 and Neves would make Rice play 8. It is. And look, I've said this before. I think we're going into the market and we don't mind whether Rice is going to end up being the 6 or the 8. I think Rice can do either. We've seen it this season. I think we're going into the market, and if the best value option and the highest quality value option available is a 6, Joao Neves, for example, we'll see Declan Rice play more as an 8. If it's an 8, we'll see Declan Rice play more as a 6. I think Rice is that good that it doesn't really matter either way. And in a lot of the big games, I think we'll see them playing as a double pivot anyway. And I'm sure there will be some games even where we're against really kind of weaker opposition, where you'll only need one of Rice and Neves to play. It will be nice, if anything, next season, think of games, right, away at, I don't know, Sheffield United or, Luton or whatever. Not away at Luton, because that was actually tricky in the end. But think about the amount of games where you could actually just rotate. You could have Rice play as the 6 in 1 week with Neves on the bench because we've got a more attacking 8 next to them, whether that's Smith Rowe or whoever. And then the following week, you play Neves as the 6. You give Rice a break and play whoever as the 8. I think this is how we start rotating the squad a bit more next season, which I think we desperately need to do. So I think the reality probably is that both of them could play as the 6 or the 8. They can interchange. They can play as a double pivot. It's those options. It's the options that you need. Whereas I think if you go and get an out and out, if you went and got an out and out 6 like a Palinha, maybe you couldn't do that as much. But Neves release clause is around 85 million euros, I've heard, or 95 million euros. So what's that, like 70 million quid, roughly? 70, 75 million quid? Yeah, it's expensive, but it could be worth it if it pays off. I was watching a compilation of him earlier. I've been trying to stay clear a little bit of compilations because they don't necessarily tell you the full picture, but the compilation looked good. It did look good. Whose birthday is it? Sportcat. Happy birthday. Our resident Chelsea fan, Sportcat. King of Guess the Non-Gooner. Happy birthday to Sportcat. Absolutely love this channel, Rory. Going from strength to strength. And can't wait to see your channel grow and your talents be more widely recognized. James, you'll make me blush. But thank you. Genuinely, I really appreciate that. I do. Tezzy May's given a €2 super chat. Thank you very, very much, Tezzy. He says, can we see the stats for Desiree Doue? Desiree Doue. We can indeed. This is Desiree Doue, an 18-year-old who's played all over the shop, really, predominantly as a left midfielder, but can play left wing and anywhere through the middle. 18 years old, turns 19 this week, plays for Rennes. Interesting. What? I assume you've got to kind of just do it. I assume you've got a Tezzy. Where would you want to see him play, Tezzy? I'm assuming this is someone that you watch. Where would you want to see him play? Left mid, or as a more of a central midfield option or attacking midfield? That's strong. I guess it's comparing him to midfielders, right? So, look, if he's playing out on the left predominantly, then not having as many touches as a central midfielder is fine. Chance creation and shot attempts decent. Goals isn't bad. 4 goals, 4 assists in 17 starts this season. Interesting. Let's go per 90. That's decent for a midfielder. That isn't ideal in our team. You can't be that. You can't be that wasteful in our team when it comes to passing. But he's 18 years old. He can improve it. In possession, dribble success decent, successful. Lots of successful dribbles. Be nice to have someone that can successfully dribble past people. Reminds me a bit of Musiala. I mean, Musiala I like. So touches in the opposition box, that's good. Fouls one, decent. He gets dispossessed a lot too, so I guess that comes with the territory of trying to take people on a lot. Defensively, doesn't really matter. Interesting. I'd have to watch him, but looks promising. Don't know how much he'd go for. Interesting. His stats profile's like Szoboszlai. We're looking at Desiree Doue, who I'd not really heard of, to be honest. He was linked today by Eduardo Hain. I happened to be watching a comp yesterday. Oh, interesting. Do you know who the link came from Eduardo? Obviously, Hain doesn't have his own sources. Do you know who the actual source for that was? Rory winning the 10 in 10. What's the next challenge? Yeah, today was a good day. I don't actually know what the next challenge is going to be. I was so not expecting to complete the challenge this quickly. I kind of haven't really planned out what it's going to be. I'm not going to do 11 in 11 straight away. I definitely need to do something else because 11 and 11 could go on for 100 days. And at that point, I'd have basically been uploading the same video every day for a year, probably. So I'm going to switch it up a bit. But I'm very happy not to be going bold. It has to be said. I'm sorry, I've spoiled it for Jake. Yeah, I didn't think about that being a spoiler. I apologize. Ouest France was the source. No idea if they're reliable. Yeah, I've got no idea if they're reliable either, to be fair. Isak train. We're still on the Gyökeres train, baby. We're still on the Gyökeres train. The late reaction on the last draw was funny. I was like, you won whilst you were perching on the chair. I know. Do you know what? The thing is as well, I know that Iron Robin has won the Premier League with Chelsea. It's just because I'm so used to putting him in the Bundesliga, and it was in my head that I just put Sane in the Bundesliga when I could have put him in the Prem. So when he came up, I just instantly thought, oh my God, he should have been in Bundesliga. I panicked. So yeah, it was lucky. Who would you want Arsenal to sign for striker this season? Victor Gyökeres. This steam train is still at full speed ahead. Imagine Neves left centre mid is Vieira and Ødegaard as right centre mid as a rotation game for an Ipswich at home next season. Rice rest. Exactly. You've got to be so much better than that. You've got to be so much better than that. Trying to catch me out. Unbelievable. Would Neves and Gyökeres be your ideal centre mid striker? And what's the max you would pay for the pair? I assume you mean pay. Gyökeres is definitely the number one for me. Like Neves, I think is at the top of the list, but I'm not as like dead set on it has to be Neves. I would like both of them. If you could do them both for 150 million, I think you take that. Get them both for 150 million. It leaves you 100 million left. It leaves you. I think we're going to spend about 250 million this summer. Get those two for 150. It leaves you with about 100 million, in my opinion. So whether you lump, a significant amount of that into the winger that we potentially want, or the centre back, you could go 50 mil on both. Yeah, we'll see. Neves' release clause is reportedly rising to 120 mil this summer. Yeah, that might be 120 mil. I think would be too much. I think 120 mil would be too much, but we'll see. Saw the clip of Robbie getting got by it. Listen, I am not Robbie. Do you like the fact that the players with no caps going to the Euros? Well, we'll talk about that. I'm not sure how many of the players that haven't got any caps are actually going to go to the Euros, because the squad that came out today is not the squad for the Euros. The squad that came out today has 33 players in it, and it's for the pre-Euro friendlies against Bosnia and Herzegovina and against Iceland. So 7 of those players, at least 7 of those players, are going to get dropped from the 26-man final squad. So, hey guys, how do I find my 7-digit membership number? Your Arsenal membership number should be all over the place. If you've got the virtual wallet, I'm pretty sure it'll be on there. Yeah, if you've got the wallet, like the digital wallet for your Arsenal membership, if you click on that, it says your membership number in the top right. A $1.99 super chat from Anu. You've definitely told me how to pronounce that before, and it's probably not Anu either. So I apologize for butchering it again. What happens to Kai if Gyökeres comes? I've got this a lot, right? And I think we need to get out of this mentality of if we sign a player, someone just doesn't. It's like the mentality of having, okay, if we sign Gyökeres, then Kai Havertz just gets benched or he has to play somewhere else. I feel like that mentality is kind of why so many of our players played more minutes than they should have done. I think if we sign Gyökeres, Kai Havertz starts up top next season, no matter who we sign. I start next season with Kai Havertz as the striker. Whoever we bring in as the other striker, literally whoever it is, they are on the bench to start with. And I give them a long amount of time to really understand how the team works and to really develop into the squad. You give them that time. It also takes pressure off them. So that's for starters. Then, as you go through the season, I don't want Kai Havertz to be playing every single game anyway. Kai Havertz can play multiple positions. He can play in midfield. And ultimately, you then also have competition. And if it turns out that Gyökeres is far better than Kai Havertz, you could, based on this season, you could then flip Kai Havertz probably for the amount we bought him for the season after and use that money for another position. I feel like we need to start looking at the squad and picturing it being more like Man City's squad. People always talk about how incredible Man City are at the end of the season. Not many people talk about the fact that so many of their players get rested throughout the season. Even in relatively difficult games, Pep will happily rotate players. And it means that they're all fresh at the end of the season, or the majority of them are fresh at the end of the season. So I think we should have a smaller squad. City have pretty much the smallest squad in the league in terms of senior players that are actually on contracts. But every single one of those players, pretty much, other than Calvin Phillips, is comfortably good enough to start. And I think that's where we need to get to. Did you respond to the PSM messages? No, I should have done that, but I went straight to bed, to be honest. So, yeah, if we bring in Gyökeres, Kai Havertz fights for his place. I think there are even some games where you could see Kai Havertz ending up on the left or the right in certain situations. Can Kai Havertz start sometimes if Ødegaard needs a break? I'm not sure he can, but there's lots of options. The other thing is, if Kai Havertz gets injured, I don't think let's say start of the season, Kai Havertz gets an injury that keeps him out for 4 or 5 months. I don't think I want Gabriel Jesus playing as our centre forward week in, week out for 4 or 5 months. I don't think he can do it anymore. So, yeah, I think that's just the mindset we have to get into. It's Arteta said he's been training at right wing. Yeah, which is an interesting option, incredibly interesting option, but we'll see. We couldn't sign Toni Kroos, in my opinion. He's retiring. Kroos is retiring. He said he'll never play for another club after Real Madrid. So, Kai could even play left back. He could play left back. Is Jesus' surgery confirmed? No, it's not confirmed. He posted today about he made a post today just saying that the season hadn't really gone how he wanted it to in terms of injuries and stuff. But he's excited to rest over the summer and come back stronger. So, whether rest over the summer means have surgery over the summer and come back stronger, I'm not entirely sure. Gonna have to go enjoy the rest of the stream. What time is Twitch live tonight? We'll be live on Twitch at about 10:30. About 10:15 is what I'll aim for. Link to the Twitch is in the description below. If you could just all take a moment whilst you're here to like the video as well, that would be awesome. If you're on your mobile, just close the chat, click the like button. That would be awesome. How much do you rate we will get for Partey? I tell you what, Mr. Nimbus, you have perfectly caveated me on to the other bit of news today. So this is about Thomas Partey. Fenerbahce's president, Ali Koch, that is his name, has spoken with Thomas Partey. Partey has been asked to wait, and if Ali Koch remains president after the latest election, an approach will be made to Arsenal to sign the player. So Fenerbahce potentially interested in Thomas Partey. Now that could be an interesting one. They wouldn't pay a lot of money. That's the reality. Fenerbahce would not pay a lot of money. Turkish clubs don't. So you wouldn't be getting 25, 30 million for Partey, which I think is what you need. For me, to sell Thomas Partey this summer, I would want 25 to 30 million, really, if possible. But Fenerbahce do have Ferdi Kadioglu, who is someone that we are potentially interested in. So maybe they can't afford to pay for him. Maybe they can afford to throw in Ferdi Kadioglu or give us a massively discounted price for Ferdi Kadioglu, if that's a player that we want to go for. So that's the only way that I can see it working. They don't have the cash to pay the money that we would need for him. But they do have a player that we're interested in. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I think Partey's made it clear. The annoying thing is Partey has insisted he wants to play in Europe. Turkey's in Europe, but as in like a major European league. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, ideally, Partey would end up in Saudi, to be honest, because they pay the most for him. But I think he's just got to get over himself at that point. Thoughts on Neto from Bournemouth as our new second keeper? We should send Ramsdale their way in exchange for 15 million and Neto. I'm not sure. I think I prefer the idea of getting Steele from Brighton. I think Steele knows how to play out from the back in the way that we do. I think whoever we bring in, it has to be more about understanding how we play rather than just being a good shot stopper, for example. I don't know why, but Jesus looks so uncanny in his Instagram post. Yeah, I thought that. I don't know why, but you're right. Poch has just left Chelsea, according to Matt Law. Hold up. Wait a minute. Is that true? Is that true? Exclusive. Mauricio Pochettino has left Chelsea by mutual consent. Wow. Wow. Wowzer. That's big. I felt like he might leave this summer, but that's quick. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I like the Steele shout as well. Used to not start as well. Yeah, exactly, because he gets rotated with Verbruggen anyway. So that's crazy. That's crazy about Pochettino anyway. I'd be interested to see who they get. Yeah, this is coming from Matt Law, exclusive. Mauricio Pochettino has left Chelsea by mutual consent. I don't know why he'd lie about it. I don't know why he'd lie about it. Major breaking. Pochettino has left Chelsea by mutual consent. It's over. I mean, Matt Law is like a proper Chelsea journalist. Desiree? Maybe Desiree. Maybe Desiree. Yeah. Desiree makes sense, doesn't it? Desiree makes sense. Although because Brighton's transfer model, the big issue that they've had, right, at Chelsea is Chelsea don't want the manager to decide who gets signed. Chelsea have no interest in their manager deciding on signings. Chelsea's recruitment team will do it. That's very similar to how it is at Brighton. Although but then Desiree fell out with Brighton specifically because he didn't like how they were spending money. So I don't really know. I don't know. Yeah, on Sportcat's birthday. Wonder what Sportcat's thinking about it. Wonder what Sportcat's thinking about it, actually. Look, anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks football community. So get your fingers on your keyboards because we're starting now. Clue number 1. This player is 37 years old. This player is 37 years old. Clue number 2, they joined Arsenal in 2003, aged 16. They joined Arsenal in 2003, aged 16. Clue number 3, they went on loan spells to Birmingham, Hanover, and Hamburg during their time at Arsenal. They went on loan spells to Birmingham, Hanover, and Hamburg during their time at Arsenal. Clue number 4, they scored 1 goal in 144 games for us. They scored 1 goal in 144 games for us. And clue number 5, they made 76 appearances for Switzerland. They made 76 appearances for Switzerland. A difficult one today. A difficult one. Pretty sure no one got it further up. So I'm pretty sure I know who's won it. Yeah, I know Pochettino's been sacked. We just spoke about it. There we go. The winner is it's VV Vlad. It's the king of the Guess the Gooner. It's VV Vlad. It was Johan Giroud. Johan Giroud, who was back at the Emirates on the weekend. Hyper Protagonist was second. Dan White, Ross Lawman was third. Dan Waite was fourth. And Emilio was fifth. So there you go. VAR has checked it. Has VAR checked it? I'm pretty sure. I was right. Matt Law has been really, really furious with Chelsea since he did not get an interview with the CEO. I don't know if I trust him. I mean, that would be a mental article for him to release if it wasn't true. He works for the Telegraph. You can't. So apparently Fabrizio Romano, like 24 hours ago, said if Pochettino leaves, Chelsea will go for a young coach. Not sure what that means, but I mean, I guess De Zerbi's young. I don't know. Do you have any Spurs players in your foot club? There are probably some in the club that I've just packed and not done anything with, yeah. I think Pedro Porro's in the club. Adding in the club. Anyway, it's time for Guess the Non-Gooner. Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. You have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks football community, but not as much respect as VV Vlad currently has. This player started their career at Hamburg. They started their career at Hamburg. They went to Nuremberg on loan. They then went to Mainz. They then went to Schalke. They then went to Stoke City. They then went to PSG. They then went to Bayern Munich. So Hamburg, Nuremberg on loan, Mainz, Schalke, Stoke City, PSG, Bayern Munchen. Who's going to be the first person to get it, though? That's the question. Ornstein's confirmed it. There you go. The first person to get it right was Amar. Amar said Chupo. It's, of course, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting with the most bizarre career path, really, that anyone's ever seen. You know, he has never been sold for a transfer fee. He went for free from Hamburg to Mainz. He went from free to Mainz to Schalke, to Stoke for free, to PSG for free, for Bayern Munich for free. Crazy. In second, it was Mr. Nimbus. In third, it was Kaisernex. In fourth, it was Francisco Oliveira. And in fifth, it was Ryan Henderson. So there you go. Congratulations to Amar. Congratulations to Amar. Law says Sebastian Juanes from Stuttgart. Butchered that name. Mikel from Girona. Kieran McKenna from Ipswich. And Enzo Maresca from Leicester City. I mean, do any of them strike fear into you? Really? Crazy. Crazy. VAR was third. You weren't third. You weren't third. You weren't third. If you thought you were third, the internet. As soon as I said Stoke City, lots of people started putting in Chupo. So, do you really see Ederson leaving? No, I don't see Ederson leaving. I don't see Ederson leaving. Unfortunately. Neither has Messi. Yeah, that's crazy, actually. Didn't think about that. Yes, Pochettino has been sacked. Pochettino has been sacked. Messi's never gone for a fee? Yeah, no, he's not, actually. They're starting from zero again next season. I mean, it is weird. It's weird. I can't lie. I think it's weird. I do think it's weird. Look, anyway, I am going to wrap up the stream there. Unfortunately, the main part of my job is TikTok, and I need to go and make one about Pochettino. So I'm going to wrap it up. We talked about everything we needed to talk about. I'll be live on Twitch this evening. Link to that is in the description. We'll be continuing with the Last of Us walkthrough. Other than that, I'll be back tomorrow night. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Thank you if you've subscribed and liked the stream. And I'll catch you all tomorrow or this evening. Goodbye.